about to start worrying about diabetes camp.
That was probably the cutest intro ever of any of these sessions that we've ever had. So we'll have him back every time to just intro, get everyone nice and comfortable. I'm just here for a moment. My name is Rob Daly. I'm the executive director of the foundation that puts on this camp. It is my privilege to be a part of this organization. My daughter goes to this camp, and she has gone since she was in kindergarten. Now she's in 8th grade, going into 9th grade, which is crazy. But this camp has been a huge part of her life, and she's a thriving young lady, and I'm very proud of her. But I credit this camp for a lot of that because she's had diabetes almost her whole life. So I welcome all of our new families. I'm so excited to meet you. I'm excited for you to meet this huge team of wonderful people we have here. We are very selective about who we allow on our team. And they're here tonight and they're taking over. They're just going to take over this whole session, which is awesome and so great. So it's probably going to be the best one we've ever done. But I want to remind everybody we are recording the session. And typically we tell you, we'll take out parts you don't want to, you want to share, because we try to have a conversation that is sometimes very personal. But tonight we're not going to do any of that. So ask all your questions and we'll post them later on YouTube and other social media, because other parents have the exact same questions that you have. So without any more talking, I will pass it on to our Director of Operations, Kiwi, and she will get us all started. Thanks so much for being here.
Awesome. Well, it's so good to see everybody. My name's Kiwi. I was also a camper as a kid, all growing up. I was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes when I was 7 years old. And 2 months later, I got to be at Gales Creek Camp. And just like Rob said, it really was a game changer. I totally credit it to just my outlook on life with type 1 and seeing it as something that I can use to my advantage rather than to a disadvantage. Most of my best friends have type 1 because of camp. My husband has type 1. I met him at a diabetes camp. So camp is just all around amazing. And I'm so excited that you're all here to learn more about it and that we will see you all out at camp this summer in some form or fashion, whether that's at our open house on June 4th. If you're not signed up for that and you want to get a peek at the camp property before you are out there for a full week or a family camp, please feel free to reach out to us and we will get you on the list for that. I, like Rob said, am the Director of Operations. So this summer, I'm going to be kind of that bridge between the office, which is where we get to talk to all of you if you call in or email in with questions, and where the magic happens, which is really out at camp. So we're glad that you're here. Please feel free to ask any questions you have about camp. We have a amazing staff for this summer. I'm beyond excited. We just had a staff meeting prior to this, and it's just so exciting. Many of them were campers growing up. And then we've got some new faces who are so excited to be at camp, and so excited to meet you and your kiddos. So I'm going to turn it over to Boo, Gopher, and Minion, who are our camp directing team. They are out at camp. Every day camp is running overnight. They are running the show. So Boo, I'll toss it over to you.
Thank you, Kiwi. Welcome, everybody. My name is Boo. I'm one of the camp directors. I have been out at camp since 2009. It was my first year. Came out as a college kid looking to get away for the summer and never left, because it truly is the happiest place on earth. In the off season, I am a middle school teacher out in Hillsboro, Oregon, and a lacrosse coach in the springtime. So I'm very busy and I am counting down the days, 4.5 weeks, 4 weeks from Sunday exactly before I get to start my real job, my favorite job, being out at Gales Creek Camp. So we're going to introduce our staff to you. They'll just come on and share their camp name and if maybe their role that they're going to have out at camp this summer. But I'm going to toss it over to one of our other directors, Gopher.
Thank you, Boo. Yes, my name is Gopher, and I've been director at a camp for about 4 summers. I'm actually a second generation director. My dad was the camp director early 80s when I was 2 or 3 years old. I was out there. I also went back while in college and was a counselor, and then came back a few years ago to help direct. And it's been an amazing experience for me. And I get to see it through my own children, their eyes. I have 3 kids who they're blessed enough to get to go out to camp. And they don't have diabetes, but it's done wonders for them. Just being around the kids, being around the staff. It's been a super great experience. Like everybody else, I'm very excited that we get to go back in person. In the off season, I live down in the Palm Springs area. I'm a PE teacher, and it's getting a little hot to be teaching PE outside right now. So I am very excited to do that drive up I-5 and get out to camp in a few weeks. I'm going to pass it over to Minion.
Awesome. Hi, everyone. I am Minion, and I am the last part of the directing team. I'm the assistant camp director, and I have been since 2020. I was diagnosed with diabetes when I was 3 years old, and I grew up going to camp for about 10 or 11 years, not honestly entirely sure how many. And then I started working as a girls counselor out in 2016 was my first year on staff. And so now I've been working since 2020 as the director. Like Boo and Gopher and Kiwi, I will echo all of their wonderful things about camp. Camp helped me grow up as a human being, as a diabetic, all of those great things. In the off season, much like my co-directors, I am also a teacher, but go elementary school, me and Gopher over there, not a middle school teacher. And yeah, so I will kick it off, pass it off to the rest of our amazing staff for this summer. I'm just gonna have y'all call out just like we did earlier. I will start with Padfoot. So why don't you just introduce yourself?
Hey everyone, I'm Padfoot. I have been going to camp since I was 7 years old, and like Minion, I was diagnosed at 3. Otherwise, I've been on staff since 2020, and this will be my first full year out at camp. I'm super excited. And in the off season, I'm a student at Utah State. I'm gonna pass it over to Pyro.
Hi, I'm Pyro. I was diagnosed when I was 6, so I've been going to camp since 2007. This is my 4th year on staff, and I'll be working in the camp store this summer as well. And then in my off time, I will be a senior at the College of Worcester in Worcester, Ohio. I'm going to pass it off to Flamingo.
Hi, I am Flamingo. I was diagnosed when I was 10, and I've been going to camp since I was 10. This is my first full year on staff as well, and in the off time, I am going to school at the University of Oregon. And I will pass this on to Goose.
Hello everyone, my name is Goose. I've been going to camp since I was about 6 years old. Both of my siblings are also type 1 diabetics. So I'm definitely around a lot of type 1 diabetics, but it's the best company. This will be my first year on staff. I was a CIT last year. And in my off time or off season, I am a student at the University of Michigan. And I will pass it off to Butterfly.
Hi, I'm Butterfly. I was diagnosed with diabetes when I was just 14 months old, and I grew up going to camp pretty much every summer. Last year was my first year as a counselor in training, and this will be my first year on staff as a counselor. And in my off season, I am a student at Boise State University.
Hey everyone, my name's Four. This is gonna be my first year at camp. Currently a nursing student, and I'll be working in the health house this camp. So can't wait to get started. And I'll pass it off to T.
Hi, my name is T. I was a camper for 8 years. I was diagnosed at 5 years old, and this will be my first year on staff working in the health house. And I will pass it on to Dude.
What's up, guys? I'm Dude. This is going to be my 5th year at camp. We got 2 regular summers and those 2 fun COVID summers. In the off season, I'm just trying to figure out this thing life. Actually, I'm trying to be a doctor, but one step at a time there. And I'm super looking forward to actually being back at camp in person. It's going to be great. I'll pass it on to my main man, Crow.
Hey everyone, I am Crow. I'll be a counselor. I was a CIT last year and I went to camp for a number of years. I don't actually remember. It was like 8 to 10. I was diagnosed when I was 5. Yeah, in my off time, I am a student at the University of Oregon, and I work in the Eugene School District at an elementary school. I don't know who hasn't gone. How about Patches?
Hi, I'm Patches. This is going to be my first year out, actually. I'm going to be a counselor this year, and I'm super excited for it. In my off time, I am an aspiring voice actor, and yeah, this is very exciting to be here. And I'll pass it over to Care Bear.
Hi everyone, my camp name is Care Bear. I've been a diabetic since I was 6 years old, and I've been going to camp for 7 years. It is my first year being a counselor, and I'm super excited to be back.
I'm Gills.
And I'm Muffin.
And we are working in the kitchen. We are food service directors.
And this is our first year, so we're really excited.
And we are students at Brigham Young University.
Thank you.
Awesome. I think that's our whole staff. Yes. Did I miss anybody? Yell at me in the chat if I missed you, staff. All right. If we're good, I think we're going to open it up to questions. So parents, campers, future campers, if you have any questions about camp, you can drop them in the chat. You can unmute. If you want to unmute and say your name, introduce yourself before you ask your question, you're welcome to do that. And then our list of experts will answer them.
Hey, this is Craig with Layla Scott. This will be Layla's first year. And I noticed some of you guys have Gales Creek t-shirts, and I was on your website looking, where do I get one of those shirts? So can you put something in the chat or tell me where it is somewhere on the store, like on the online site? Where can I get one of these awesome t-shirts?
Well, that is a loaded question that I have so many answers for. So when your camper arrives to camp, they show up on the first day and they get a t-shirt right away for free, which is awesome. Super cool. We actually only have our online store open at certain times. And because we're leading up to our exciting summer, we're currently purchasing all of our brand new awesome shirts and sweatshirts and, oh, I don't even know whatever fun things we're getting, house decor and little knickknacks and stickers and all the things that you can imagine that has GCC on it. It has it on it. So when you guys show up to camp this summer, the store will be open on check-in day on Sunday when you come. It'll be open at different times throughout the week for your camper. We have camper cards that parents are able to put money on. It's basically a little way for them to shop while not having like the physical money and having to manage that while they're at camp, right? And then on Friday, it's open to all parents, campers, everyone as well. So when you show up on Sunday, you'll have the opportunity to buy some awesome t-shirts. Your camper will also get a free one. And then usually we do open up our store, online store, in the holiday season and maybe other special times, depending on if we actually have stuff left after the summer ends. So that's when you can get a shirt.
Is there like a pool there?
Yeah, actually, Boo, do you want to talk about the pool? And I do have some follow-up questions for the pool. One of our questions that came in prior to this evening were what safety precautions we take around the pool. So if you can speak to that a little bit, that would be awesome.
Amazing. I would love to. Miles, do you like to swim?
Yes.
Me and you, Miles, I think we're going to have a ton of fun out at camp. We have a pool. We also have a creek, which some people prefer, although it is a little bit more refreshing in temperature wise. And we swim every single day, sometimes twice a day. So we'll have a swim time every afternoon, and then we have a night swim once a week. Sometimes if it's really hot, we'll do some swim time in the morning with some fun water activities.
It's a night swim.
A night swim is where we throw a big pool party after dinner in the evening time before showers in bed. And so we play music and we dance and we have games and we decorate. A lot of times we have a belly flop contest or a cannonball contest, or you get to splash your favorite counselor as much as you can. Counselors thrive on that energy. They love to get splashed. Just letting all the new counselors know, you thrive on that energy and you love to get splashed. As far as safety goes, we have at all swim times 2 on-duty lifeguards that are both certified and trained. The dude is one of them.
Dive?
Our pool is not quite deep enough to dive, so we only do feet first jumping, or we do belly flops. So our pool is 6 feet at the deep end, and it goes down to 3 feet. And we have a shallow end and a deep end. And to get in the deep end, we have just a pretty simple swim test that you need to pass. And if you don't pass the swim test, that's okay. You get to hang in the shallow end where we have like our basketball hoop. We have our counselors. We have some counselors that hang out there, because not every counselor likes to go into the deep end too. And so when we go swimming in the creek, everybody can go in the creek because it's shallow enough. And we also do a creek hike where we hike on our creek a little bit. And so, but we also have our trained lifeguards 2 on duty for that as well.
And what's the swim test?
Swim test is swimming from our shallow end to our deep end and back without stopping for a break on the wall.
How long is it?
How long is it? Oh man, you're putting me to the test, Miles. I like it. You're putting me through the grinder. I would say it is about 20 yards. Staff, shake your heads, yes or no. 20 to 20-ish yards. And I'll tell you, you'll get a chance to see it when you come, or if you come to our camp open house, or if you watch the videos on our website, we do a cool little flyover of the pool, so you get to see what it looks like. Does that also answer our follow-up safety questions? Oh, and we also always have a nurse at the pool with us, along with our certified lifeguard. So there's always a nurse on duty. A lot of times there's also some nurses there enjoying the water and the sunshine. So we always have that. And then typically a doctor is in the pool as well. But if they aren't in the pool, they are just next to it at the doctor's cabin. So everybody is close by.
I'm going to add something, Boo. Also, during our swim time, in conjunction with, we offer the blacktop, because not everyone wants to spend their whole summer in the pool like Boo. Whenever he goes missing, we're like, where's Boo? He's floating in the pool, right? And not everyone wants to spend their whole summer in the pool. So just know that if your camper prefers the blacktop or is just not a big swim bug, anything like that, we do offer that blacktop time, which is just an area that is right next to our pool. There's always staff with those kids who decide not to go swimming as well. So that is always an option that we offer as well during our swim times.
Great addition.
I want to say one more thing.
Go for it.
What way do you have to swim?
So we swim forward. You can do any stroke. We ask that you don't do doggy paddle, just because while one of my favorite strokes in the pool is doggy paddle, speed-wise, it is typically not the most efficient. So if
Okay.
you are thinking about swimming in the swim test, start practicing now. Go out to your local lakes, rivers as they are thawing out. I'm just kidding. But we always have time to practice. And if you don't pass the swim test early in the week, oftentimes there are counselors that can help you practice so that you can take it again later in the week.
Boo, follow-up question for you from the chat. Can a camper bring a life jacket so they can go in the deep end if they can't swim, or do they have to stay in the shallow end?
That is a great question. As parents will learn as they come out to camp over and over and over again, they will notice that there are so many things for a camper to keep track of that come in their suitcase. And so we actually don't allow campers to bring life jackets. They can hang in the shallow end. We have a lot of activities going in there, so they're not just like sitting on the side watching. I, full disclosure, as a lifeguard, prefer the shallow end. I think it's a little bit more exciting. There's a little bit more structure to it. That's my teacher side coming out. But we don't have life jackets there at camp. So there's always options. We always try and provide choice. And the only thing that the deep end has that the shallow end doesn't have is that jumping aspect into the pool.
Awesome. Okay, we've got a couple questions in the chat pertaining to pumps and CGMs at camp. So we definitely want to address that topic. That is obviously a very hot topic with not having our true camp programming for the last 2 summers. There's been a lot of technology advancements, which we all love, but that definitely changes how some things look at camp. So I'm gonna lean on Minion to talk a little bit about what Dexcom and pump charging looks like at camp. But I first want to just start off with all of our medical policies and procedures are determined by our medical committee. So that includes pediatricians, endocrinologists, registered nurses, diabetes educators, and all of them have a really great working knowledge of what happens at camp and how we can best accommodate those things in a camp setting. And so they are literally, as we speak, working on finalizing the updates to our policies for Dexcom, when we can rely on a Dexcom reading and when we need to double check with a finger poke, as well as the finite specifics of how automated loop systems are going to work at camp. They are super excited about all of this technology, just like we are. And so they are making sure that we are all finalized and that they've considered every single detail and aspect of how that works at camp so that we can make sure that your kiddos are super safe, but also get to utilize those tools. So Minion, if you can talk a little bit about pump charging and what Dexcoms have looked like in 2019 overnight.
Yeah, so in all the cabins, there is outlets actually right in between the bunks, which is super convenient. So in the past, a lot of campers have charged their T-Slims or, I think that's really back then, it was really the only pump that needed to be charged, right? So those campers usually would charge it overnight while they were sleeping, right? Because the outlets are right there and it's super easy to reach. So you can still be connected to your pump while it's charging. The other option is that I have seen done in the past is that when campers remove their pumps for swim time, that is another really good opportunity for them to charge those things. Those things are going to be unattached anyways when you're going swimming in the deep end. So that's another great time to charge. So there's a couple different opportunities for that to charge. And of course, if it is the middle of the day and it needs to be charged, we're going to work that out. So it's never an issue. That's typically just something that our amazing health house handles if it is in the middle of the day, and they'll find a good time for it to be charged and everybody's going to get their insulin. And yeah, and kind of same thing goes for the Dexcom. I know those look different than they did in 2019 because most people, either had it to their pump or still had the little PDM receiver, whatever we want to call it. And those needed to be charged, and people would typically do them overnight. So kind of same situation. So hopefully that answers the charging question portion.
Awesome. Next question from the chat. What about picky eaters? That's a great question. Gopher, do you mind taking that one and talking a little bit about that?
Sure, I can handle that one. On your check-in day to camp, in addition to meeting with the medical team and meeting the directors and getting your shirt and your picture taken and all that, you also will meet with our dietitian, and they will go over any food allergies or intolerances and even foods that your child just won't eat. Our kitchen always does a good job, first and foremost, of cooking delicious food, and also a very good selection of food, understanding that we are, cooking for 70, 80 people once you include the staff and all sorts of dietary needs. So before the kids take their insulin, they're shown what the menu will be for that meal, all the choices with the carb counts. And so they make their plan for how many carbs they will eat at that meal. And that's our main concern. If they take something and they end up not liking it, they can always go up, talk to the dietitian, show them, hey, I didn't really like this, but I was planning on eating 4 carbs. What can I do? And the dietitian will work with them. It's also a really good educational time for the kids to think about that. So when they're on their own, they know what to do in that situation. But I don't think we have had too many issues with picky eaters. I think we understand that most kids are picky about certain things at this age, and we're able to work around it.
I think if anything, I will say kids never go hungry at camp because we eat every 2 hours. It's a really cool, fun thing that we do. We do breakfast, snack, lunch, snack, dinner, bedtime snack. So there's that, first of all. And like Gopher said, there is so many options for them to choose from. Campers typically have a hard time narrowing down all that they're going to eat. So usually food is covered.
And so you were talking just about how often we eat. We do, like you said, breakfast, snack, lunch, snack, dinner, snack. I saw a question in the chat just about what a typical day looks like. The time in between, before every meal and bedtime, we do a test and shots. After the meal, they would come back and so let's say we have breakfast. We come back across the bridge, and kids will have either chosen to do some sort of higher level energy activity, like a hike, a field game, things like that, or maybe they are choosing to do the arts and crafts activity. We all come back, eat our snack, and they go back to either arts and crafts or some sort of game, test and shots, lunch. With some age groups, we do a little rest hour, or a lot of times we might work that in later in the week after lunch as the kids are getting pretty tired. As Boo said, then we have a nice swim time every afternoon. Following swim, we do showers or a quick pool shower afterwards. And then the kids really like the yard time. That's when our store is open. They can hang out on the log. They can play ping pong and volleyball, things that are kind of in the yard is the central area of our camp. We also have our snack then. Then we, after dinner, it's usually a whole camp activity, like capture the flag or night swim, a dance for the high school and middle school ages. We've got some fun trivia nights and a great activity called a Dutch auction that we do. So that's the basic daily schedule. Oh, I can't forget campfire. That's my favorite, even more than the dance. But like, I like campfire even more than the dance. Bill will disagree with me, but that's our typical daily schedule.
Awesome. Stephanie, it looks like you two have a question. Go ahead.
Hi, I am Josh, and I got diagnosed when I was 8, and I have a couple of questions. And my first question is, can you bring Rufus?
You can absolutely bring the Rufus bear. We love Rufus bears at camp.
And second of all, what do you have at the shop?
Good question. So the camp store changes every year. We get new stuff that we put our logo on and some of our camp song lyrics and our favorite things about camp. Minion actually designs a lot of them and she's really good at it. So they look super cool. But there is everything you could think of, from sweatshirts if you get cold, to sweatpants, to keychains. This year, give you guys a little sneak peek, we're going to get those, you know, the little puppet toys. We're going to have Gales Creek Camp puppet toys, which will be really fun. Awesome. We've got stickers. We've got tons of stickers this year. Really quite a few things. And I will tell you, if you get to camp and there's something in the store, or there's something you hope would be in the store and you don't see it, you tell me or Minion and we'll be sure to look into it for the next year. Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect. Did you have another question?
That was my second question.
Perfect. Great questions.
Thank you.
All right.
I see one in the chat about accidents at night. We're no stranger to that out at camp. That's something that we talk with the kids as a whole, usually when they do their cabin meeting, and just talk about how it happens to everyone. It's normal, and tell them to please come tell a counselor if it happens. We do have plenty of extra sleeping bags, and our staff is very good about being discreet about that and making sure that nobody else knows. But we also do, I think, a good job of letting them know that it's normal. It's nothing to be embarrassed or ashamed about. And usually their bedding will always be washed, dried, and back on their bed before rest time. It's actually one of our counselor duties that we have, to make sure that every bed is checked, just in case there was a kid who was embarrassed and didn't tell us. We glove up and do a quick check of the beds and wash any that need it and have it back before anyone knows.
I'm gonna tag on / maybe lead us into another question I think I saw in the chat. So like Gopher said, we do all of those things. Also, if your camper were to wake up in the middle of the night, right? Say it's like they wake up at 3 a.m. and realize they had an accident. That also happens too. We have 2 staff members in each cabin that are on call every single night. So they sleep in a separate kind of, I wouldn't necessarily call it a room because it kind of doesn't have 4 walls. So separate little area where campers are able to knock and wake up the counselors who are on call at any point in the night for any reason that they need. So they're basically there to help you, whether it's you're feeling low in the middle of the night, you're feeling high, you're just not feeling well, you wet the bed, anything like that. Those counselors who are on call are there to help your kids every single night, and they were always available. I think there was a question about what nighttime looks like. Yeah, how will blood sugar checking be handled at night? So I'll kind of lead us into that, and then if somebody wants to add on, if there was anything else I missed, they can go for it. But so like I said, those same 2 counselors who are on call are responsible for checking and reporting all of those blood sugars throughout the night. So for every single camper at camp will be checked at midnight, and they will be checked again at 3 a.m. It's like, had to think about it for a second. It's been a couple summers since I actually had to do a night check. I was like, woo, 3 a.m. So they get that bedtime number, right? And then they'll be checked again at midnight and then at 3 a.m. Those, actually all of our staff participates in the 12 a.m. checks. So those get done super quick. Your kid, if they're low, we will give them the treatment. We will test again in 15 minutes. They're low again, they'll get the treatment. We'll test again in 15 minutes. So our normal protocols, all of that. There's also always a nurse and a doctor on call as well. So if it's something that the counselors need to check in with those nurses or those doctors with, there are always those resources available as well. So your camper will be checked 12, and 3, no matter what. If they wake up and they need to be checked in between those times, like I said, those on-call counselors will be available to help them. So that's kind of the abbreviated version of what nighttime blood sugars look like, if anybody wants to add anything.
And while we're on the cabins, I see a question about the cabins. It says how many kids are in a cabin. So I know some camps have smaller cabins, several smaller cabins that the kids are grouped in. That's sort of their team that they do their activities with. At Gales Creek, we have 2 large cabins, boys cabin and a girls cabin. The exact capacity, what is it, around 30 campers at most. We usually don't have, I don't know if we'll have that many. And it says, are there activities with all cabins together? And yeah, we're one camp for all activities. There's times when half the kids may choose arts and crafts, or even a third arts and crafts, a third go on a hike, and a third want to play basketball. But there are always activities where everybody at Gales Creek is in the same activity together. So it's not like if they have a friend that they won't see them during camp activities, they can plan to go to every single activity together and sit together at meals if they wish. So hopefully that answers that question. Tracy.
Okay, the question on every middle and high school camper's mind. Can campers bring their cell phones and use them during the week? Boo, take it away.
As a middle school teacher, this is what I do from 8:45 to 3:15 every day. So here's the deal. We are working on our policy for using our phones with our CGMs in conjunction with that. So that is ever changing. However, I will tell you, we have no cell phone reception out at camp. So you can't get on Instagram, you can't get on Snapchat, you can't get on MySpace, you can't get on YouTube. None of those things would work. So what we tell campers is camp is a great opportunity for a week to kind of let go of that technology as much as possible. We also don't want to be responsible for, I just got a new phone a little while ago. They are very, very expensive. And we are very, very active out at camp. And I don't care what case you have. Sometimes if it ends up at the bottom of the creek, no big bowl of rice is going to save it. So what we tell campers is we want you to be here at camp with us, enjoying that time, creating those memories. When we need to use it for diabetes related things like our decks, then that's one thing. But we also have cameras to go around and we take pictures all week of all the activities. It's one of our counselors' duties to be around snapping photos. We put them together in a slideshow for you, so you have them with you. And we take this as an opportunity to unplug. I know for middle schoolers and high schoolers and elementary schoolers and parents, that idea of unplugging from your phone can be a little bit scary, a little bit uneasy. I will tell you, as someone who has been doing it since I was much younger for whole summers, it's part of what makes camp really special, to be in that moment with everyone. So if it is a big source of anxiety, I'm happy to talk through it with you and your camper. But I really, really want to encourage you to think of it as a nice little vacation. And then when you drive back into service on your way home, you can feel super, super popular as all the notifications come in and all of your friends are like, we missed you. Tell us all about camp and how much fun you had.
There is a question that I think we missed earlier. Is there a packing list? Yes. So before your camper starts to get ready for camp, about a week and a half before camp, we will send out a parent packet that has everything you need to know about your kids' week at camp. And that will include a packing list. I believe it's also included in an email that you should have gotten after you registered. You can always, if you can't find that email, if you signed up way back in January because you were on top of it, and you can't locate that and you want it before we get closer to camp, feel free to send us an email. I'll put that email address in the chat again. and we can get that to you so you can plan ahead. I love my planners who are already thinking about that. Rob said the packing list is also in your registration account. So if you sign back into that account in the document center, it's called the parent packet. Any other questions? We'll kind of let y'all think. We just threw a ton of info at you. So let it marinate, take it in. We've still got a few minutes here. So
Kiwi, since the staff has been meeting and planning, if families have a second, I'd love for them to put in the chat some of their campers' favorite activities. So it's always good to be reminded of activities as we plan our fun weeks that are coming.
I was also thinking maybe some of our staff that have come as campers, maybe you could share your favorite camp specific activity, either in the chat or you can unmute and share, just so those new campers know what they're looking forward to. I know Gopher already said that mine is the dance. Dance and swim time is kind of where I really, really have my most fun.
I'll say two of my favorite ones were the bubblegum tree hike and the creek hike. I guess I'm just a sucker for hikes, but
I love the creek hike as well, and I also love playing ultimate frisbee and capture the flag. That's always been a camp tradition, and it's always super fun. People paint their faces all different colors, and it's a great time.
One of my favorites. I always forget the name. Is it Survivor? I just know I would always call it the dinosaur game.
Or Extinction
when I
or
was at
something.
camp. Yeah, that and then archery was always a good one. Those are probably some of my favorites.
Yeah, some of my favorites. I mean, I love everything that gets you out and moving. I mean, my favorite are games that you can't play anywhere else. Mat ball, colony ball, Dragon's Den, just name a few, rat race, capture the flag, because no one plays capture the flag quite like us. Like, there are tons. I mean, I can go on and on, but yeah, in the field is where it's at. So I want to see all you campers up there in the field with Dude this summer.
Dude, you should come to my PE class. We play all those games all year round.
I'll be down.
My favorite when I was a camper would have to be anything in the water. And then I think it was the commando hike, the one where you hide during the hike. So much fun. Or what is it? Something?
You're right. It's the commando hike. And it looks like we have a question, Stephanie. We got another one.
Do you guys do archery?
We sure do. I don't know if Padfoot or Dude, you want to talk for a second about our archery and what we have going on?
Sure.
Padfoot, you can go ahead and start if you want.
okay. Yeah, we do archery during when we have this time where you can choose to do a couple different activities. So right now we're actually working on getting some new equipment for our archery program, and so we can have some new stuff that you get to try out this summer, and you can be one of the first people to use it. But yeah, we have a cool setup, and Dude and I right now will be certified to run the archery with you, and so I think it'll be a fun option.
Yeah, it's really fun. Really, it's a really nice and relaxing time at camp. But yeah, archery, man. We look forward to seeing you out there.
Thank you.
Thank you.
There's another question in the chat that is a great question. Are there any reasons why you would call parents during camp beyond an accident? So actually in that parent handbook, we have a whole page of like when we would call you and who would be calling you in that scenario. So if it were something diabetes related that needed to be talked about with the parents, you'd probably get a call from our camp doctor or one of our registered nurses. And so there's a whole table of the different things that we would call you about. Boo, did you want to say anything else, or Gopher, about parents getting calls from camp?
Yeah. Typically, if you don't hear from us, that's good news. And that means we're having so much fun that we can't even take a minute to step away and let you know how much fun we're having. If for some reason your camper is feeling like they want to let you know how it's going or tell you all the awesome things they're doing, we have an amazing technology out there. It's called the US Postal Service. And as a former language arts teacher, I really encourage the art form of letter writing. Campers can receive mail. We can send mail from camp to home. And so that's a great way for us to kind of communicate out there. Again, we're kind of taking our little pocket of the world where sometimes technology is not as readily available, and we kind of really embrace that. So we typically don't make phone calls home just to say hi or to tell you about all the cool food we ate or the fun games we played. If there were some other reason where a director needed to get in touch with you, we would definitely do that. And I also want you to, all parents, take a collective deep breath with me. If you do see the camp phone number come up on your caller ID, don't panic. It doesn't mean that something awful happened. Sometimes it might just be like, hey, I'm verifying your camp store balance, or things like that. So we want you to also, we talk about camp being a nice break for our campers in a lot of different ways, a break from having to be the only person with diabetes or thinking about their diabetes all the time, or having to do their own carb counts. It's a nice break for them. We also want to encourage parents to have a nice little break too. I know me telling you that is not going to make it so, and you're going to still probably wake up in the middle of the night on the first couple nights. But by the time your camper is in high school and they're coming year after year after year, you will barely slow down the car as you push them out on Highway 6 to us. So try and take some of that time to also enjoy a nice little respite from constantly checking numbers on your phone or things like that.
There's a quick follow-up question in the chat about mail getting sent to camp. Can you send care packages? Yes, absolutely. We love that. We just ask that you don't send any food in those packages, because we are a summer camp and we have to think about the critters that are running around and making sure that we're keeping our buildings safe from them. So we just ask that you don't include any food in those packages.
Or gum.
And I will say, or gum, yes. I will say too, it does take a couple days for stuff to get out to camp. And we're happy, if you send mail the week prior, hoping that it will arrive during your camper's week, we're happy to hold on to that. We'll know when we see it come that it was either one that showed up late, that we will contact you and see if we can get back to you, or one that's showing up in preparation for the next week, and we'll hold on to those as well.
Well, that's a great question. Can we send care packages to the counselors? Would that be all right with the counselors?
They will be screened by the directors first, though. So that's just, sorry, it's in our job description.
No, that is unfair. I protest that. I work hard, and I want whatever the nice parents are kind enough to send my way, please.
Awesome.
Oh our counselors are out here bidding for things. We're going to take away your privileges of the chat, counselors. What's good to know, parents, is that even when your campers grow up and they are on staff, they still like to treat Lowe's with Sweet Tarts and Smarties, Skittles. When we check in at the health house, a question in the chat, you'll do a full check-in with our medical team. You'll bring any additional meds. They'll get turned over in original containers, and we will handle all of that. Will live in the health house, and we will handle all of the distribution of those meds throughout the day and whatever's necessary.
All right. Well, we are nearing the 8 o'clock mark. The directors and I will hang out for a little bit longer, so feel free to stay on if you had any other questions. But if you think of anything, you walk away from this call and you're like, wow, I just got, so much camp info. And as you're kind of processing Feel free, seriously, to reach out with anything that comes to mind. We want to make sure that you all feel so prepared going into your camper week. And Rob and I are always reachable at the office, either by email or telephone. If you don't get us right away, we will give you a call back very, very shortly if you just leave us a message. So seriously, just don't hesitate to reach out to us as we get closer to camp. Sometimes those things that you aren't thinking about now, we're still 5 weeks out from our first camp week. So as you get closer, as those things pop into your mind, feel free to reach out to us. If your camper wants to reach out to us with any questions that they have, we are also very happy to talk with them about activities. We can get them in touch with one of the directors to talk with them if they have very specific questions about what they will be doing at camp. And we are just so excited. Everyone is just, I'm like, the countdown's on, we're ready to go, it's going to be great. So we are so appreciative of you taking some time to hang out with us this evening. And we will see you at camp.
You have a question for them? What's your question? Lucas has a question.
I don't know, just ice cream.
Is there hiking? Is that what you said?
I said ice cream.
Oh, is there ice cream?
Frozen s'mores, my man. You don't want ice cream after you got a frozen s'more.
Frozen s'mores? No way.
He's got his priorities straight. I like it.
And for anybody wondering, we do also have ice cream sometimes too.
Do we do math?
I would venture to say the only math that you might do at camp is counting your carbs. But if you don't even want to do that, the counselors can totally help you figure out what you're eating for the meals. I don't think there's any other math in there anywhere. Am I wrong?
No school. This isn't like school.
So
Nothing.
should we cancel the trigonometry we were gonna do? That's all right. We'll play capture the flag instead.
And also it's even not like, I don't know how to say it. It's not even like school because we have real arrows for archery, maybe.
There you go.
Did I hear you guys have an open house for camp?
Yes, June 4th. I'm actually going to go ahead really quickly and I'll pop the link to sign up for that in the chat.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Yeah, we would love to see you out there. Lunch is provided. And it's just a great way to kind of get to know camp and meet some of the staff is going to be there and you get to be on the campus and kind of see it. So
cool. Awesome. Thank you.
Was that a hand up on, looks like Mary?
Yeah, I have a question.
Sure.
So I heard things about swimming and volleyball, but I was wondering what some of the other activities are.
All right, how much time do you have?
Enough.
Enough. So we do all sorts of high active activities. So we have volleyball, we have basketball, we play capture the flag, we play some touch rugby, we play tag games, we go hiking, we go swimming, we play gaga ball. What am I forgetting of the ones that like I can tell you and you'll know what they are?
Ping pong.
Yeah, arts and crafts.
Ping pong, arts and crafts.
Archery.
Frog pond.
Well, people don't know what frog pond is, but I love frog pond. Yeah.
The GCC game show.
Board games. We have, so we sing all sorts of songs. We have a campfire. We have a dance for the high school, middle school weeks. We have, what am I forgetting? There's so many. There's basically, I will guarantee you, we can find something that you will enjoy and you will try something new that you will enjoy. And if you come up with something, you're like, well, we didn't get a chance to do this, tell us and we'll try and work it out so that if that's something you want to do, when you come back to camp, we have it available.
Sounds fun.
All right.
We have a brand new game that we just got for camp called Can Jam. It's like a Frisbee game. And then we also are expanding our Frisbee golf course because we have a few more, what do you call it in Frisbee golf? Destinations, tee boxes, the little net things that you throw the Frisbee into. So we've got some stuff that some very generous donors have donated throughout the year that we finally get to use out at camp, which will be exciting.
Can Jam is a blast. My family and I play all the time. That doesn't mean I'm good at it, but it's really fun.
I have a question. So I think somebody mentioned something about staying for 2 weeks. Is the camp open for 2 weeks for students, or is it restricted to just 1 week at a time per year?
So that is a great question. We have 2 weeks of each age group. And so what we want to make sure we're doing is we want to make sure we're giving an opportunity to as many kids with type 1 as possible. So typically, both of those weeks fill up to capacity. So right now, we only offer 1 week a summer. In the future, hopefully it doesn't happen where our numbers drop, or maybe there's a cure and we're good and our numbers drop. But in the future, for some reason, if that wasn't the case, that might be something we look into. But right now, it's a 1 week session.
Awesome. Thank you.
All right. Well, thank you all so much for coming. Like I said, if you have any other questions, I'm putting the email address in the chat right now as I speak. Feel free to reach out to us, give us a call, check out our website. There's all of our contact info on there as well. And we will see you this summer. We can't wait.